Hi, welcome to Awake TV. So today we're gonna talk about breaking through generational curses and family lineage of patterns. So this will be really interesting conversation, and then I have my insight and the stuff to share with, and so on too. So according to my own experiences, we carry out emotional memories and emotional energetic stuff through the cells. That's how we can pass on all kind of patterns from your ancestors, not just your family but ancestors, right? And since we have our bodies, we, even though we never had this kind of patterns and then stuff like that, we volunteered to be in the family, and then we take on the pattern because we have a body, because we take on the body, and then we started to experiencing it, and then how we can break this out. So Sue, what is your point of view on this?
Oh, I'm still processing it as far as getting it clear in my own mind and energetic fields. So I work with it. As far as, so for example, I've heard that every life we've ever lived is all going on now because there is no time. There's only the illusion of time. And the pattern and energetics of all of those lifetimes are existing in our DNA,
Mhm.
in the cells, like you said. And so that if that's true, um, what you just said makes sense to me because once we choose a body and it is of course linked to a lineage, a heritage, our ancestors, that DNA is also going to contain their DNA. And
Mm.
so that's a like an eternal connection.
Yeah.
So for example, like we were just talking about allergies. Okay, so somebody has an allergy to trees, and environmental allergies, right? And
Yeah.
doctors will kind of tell you, well, that can be genetic, it can be passed on.
Mm.
And so what do we do about that? We say, oh, we're powerless, it's genetic, and I say, I don't think so, and I'll tell you why.
Mm.
Um, our minds, our thoughts are always creating our reality, our hologram, what we're experiencing. And so I believe that when I have a certain belief about myself, in other words, oh, I have blonde hair, or I have good skin, or
Mhm.
my skin tans well in the sun.
Mhm.
Those beliefs, because you can change hair color, so I decided to use a different example.
Mm.
If I have that fundamental belief, my body is generally going to say, "Okay, that's what we do." It listens to our thoughts about
Mm.
ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my reality because it's been that way all along. And I say, "Okay." So what if I say okay to an allergy? Um, as a child, I was told, well, we allergies tend to run in the family. You got to be careful. And then as a child, you start experiencing these symptoms because they are in your DNA and you believe it and it's being reinforced by your family that's telling you this is common for you. This is normal. But then what if you go along and you say, now, wait a minute. I have the power of creationship in my body and my reality. Maybe I'm not allergic anymore. Or maybe I've outgrown it. And what if that that ability to just make a decision and then you keep reinforcing it with that thought. So if you backslide a little bit and you go, oh, I can't do that. I have an allergy. And then you go, no, wait a minute. I can do that. I don't have any allergies. And
Mhm.
you keep consistently reinforcing that thought, a new thought. What if we're energetically shifting literally our DNA as well, and our body's going, "Okay, we're not allergic, we can do that."
Mhm.
Um, so I was telling you about an example with my friend in high school who was sitting in my mother's living room, having a visit with us for an hour, and we had 3 cats at that time, but
Mhm.
he hadn't seen any of them for that entire first hour that we were sitting and talking and laughing. And then all of a sudden, a cat passes by through the hallway and into the other room, and he saw the cat. And he goes, "Oh, I'm allergic to cats." And he starts sneezing and tearing up and snotting and literally just went bombastic, this allergy that showed up. And I even as a kid, I saw that and I went, "Wait a minute, you've just been sitting in our house for an entire hour. It's not like the cat just got up on his lap and put his tail in his face or something. He just walked by the hallway." So that kind of showed me in my youth that our minds are very powerful tools, and I didn't fully, know the concepts that I understand now, but
Mhm.
um we can consciously create our health, our physicality, our well-being,
Very.
just by our thoughts.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I'll give you another example. My youngest son had asthma as a young child, and
Mhm.
he had allergies, and he was doing the inhalers and allergy pills and all this other stuff. And once he got really into sports, like big, solid, loving sports, he played soccer, baseball, tried football. He just was really loving the sports. He somewhere along the line made a decision that he didn't want to have asthma. He didn't want to be allergic to anything. And to this day, he doesn't take allergy pills. He doesn't need an inhaler anymore. And of course the
Wow.
doctor yeah, and the doctor said, "Well, you grew out of it." A lot of kids grow out of allergies. Maybe, and I'm no doctor, but I think he made a decision. He's like, I don't need this. I don't want this. This is not my reality." And that's my contention, that we have that power, that we can decide. But it does take work. I mean, these old patterns or things that we were told as children that is genetic, or, oh, you're predisposed to this, or, the more we think, I'm going to get it, I'm going to get it. Oh, it's going to happen to me, like cancer. They ask you history. Does anybody in your family have breast cancer? Well, what do they do after that? They then convince you need testing all the time, that you're at high risk to get it. So your thoughts are always confirming that, oh, I'm going to get cancer.
Mhm.
Oh, there's a really high chance I'm going to get cancer. So we're in those fear thoughts. And
Mhm.
chances are what we're doing is we're bringing it to us because we're thinking about it so much and we're so fearful of it. How
Mhm.
about we change that, shift those thoughts into I'm perfectly healthy. I feel well today. I am whatever it is you want to be. If you want to lose weight, stop thinking that you can't. Stop saying to yourself, I've tried every diet there is and nothing works for me. Those thoughts are going to keep reinforcing that
Oh
you
yeah.
can't lose weight,
Mhm.
and they're BS, in my opinion. I've been every weight. I've been everything from a size 14 to a size 6 in my adult life.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, what we're thinking and the amount of stress that we're putting into our lives by worrying about things and being fearful, that affects everything. Your body hears all of that, and if you're fearful, your body may say, oh, we need to be protected because she's afraid, she's in danger, and so we might pack weight on as a protective mechanism. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts? But does it
Um.
sound crazy?
Well, to me, we hypnotize ourselves, right, by repeating it. So we better be mindful about what we say to ourselves. So personally, right now, I just coughed like, I don't know, 5 minutes ago because I have a high hay fever and
Mhm.
then usually comes with cough. So that was gone good like maybe 6, 7 years because I was taking stinging nettles and then eventually it's gone. And that was
Yeah.
the tips I got from a guy who was born with asthma and allergy. And I tried it and then it worked on me. Like I had to take it the season before my spring fever comes, which spring, and then as soon as summer hits, it goes away. But it's really hard because I'm coughing all the time. I feel feverish, and then eyes and the runny nose. So I feel like I'm having like cold all the time, right? So
Mhm.
the coughing part takes a lot of energy out of it. But physical manifestation or physical changing yourself part takes a lot of faith, right? Because my spring allergy was gone. And then it suddenly came back because I was in Japan and springtime when they have a lot of pollen. And then I think my mom was being my mom and it was very difficult to be with and it suddenly came back. And I was fine here, you know, but my allergy originally started in New York. Cells reborn every 90 days. So when we work on ourselves energetically, we can reborn completely in different body every 90 days.
So be careful of the messages we're giving our body.
Definitely.
You know, because like, if you go back just a little bit and you say, you were okay in New York and then you went to visit your mom in Japan and you started having the allergies again, I kind of in my mind made a connection to the genetic part because your lineage is from Japan. And whenever you're around your mom, it sort of triggers you and connects you back to the energy of your lineage. And her particular behavior is, it triggers you, I think. And you've changed so much from the ways of your family that, but every time you get a reminder of it, maybe the allergy was saying to you, I don't like this. This is not who I am, right?
Yeah, you know what's interesting? After that, like I was speaking to our colleague, and then she was saying, maybe you're not allergic to any kind of pollen. I tested, and I'm pretty much allergic to everything.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like our body is communicating with us.
Hmm.
I don't want this in my environment.
Yeah,
I think that, we have these beliefs that we have something and it's told to us by a doctor or family or whatever. And I think
I want.
part of breaking away and releasing family patterns is making a decision to stop thinking that way and think differently because we are creators and we can create a new reality for ourselves. And so, but I can't do it by telling myself I'm allergic. I can't do
Yeah.
it by telling myself that I can't lose weight. I can't create health in my body if I'm always worried about getting cancer or if I'm always worried that some virus is going to come along and make me really sick and take my life away. I mean, that's not the stuff
Right.
that makes us healthy. We're creating our own picture, and so we've got to be very, very, very careful what messages we're telling our body. And I think that's how we break the generational patterns, the ties that we have to even DNA. We can shift that DNA, even if it's something that's happened in every generation of a family. It doesn't mean necessarily you're going to manifest it unless you believe it. We can break and shift our DNA just by our thoughts, just by our beliefs about a thing.
Well, how I manifested was back then, I wanted to understand my ex husband. So I manifested hay fever, right? I think I manifested the hay fever because I wanted to understand him, why he doesn't have a physical, energy. And
Mhm.
after I started having my condition, because my lungs get weak and then I have to cough, so my energy level means like I could work 120%, like 12 hours or 14 hours. I only could do 8. I'm
Mhm.
using as an example because I don't have that much energy. So I understood him, right? Because I was kind of in similar situation.
Tinctures and introducing, like you said, the stinging nettles.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I
like,
was
what
doing that.
yeah, the placebo effect, why does that work when other people rely on medicine so much? And I think again, it connects to what we're talking about, which is the belief about a thing. So, like, I was told by, a natural chemist that tinctures worked. I'm not saying the word greatly, but, a tincture it's a little bit of medicine in fluid and you introduce it in your body. And I said, well, why does that work instead of getting a full dose? And they said, because you're telling your body, you're giving it a message just by having a little bit of the herb in there. You're telling it what you want it to do, which is heal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Because
so by you telling your body with the stinging nettles that you were done experiencing hay fever, your body listened.
it was gone long time ago until Japan. But I
And
think the
then
trigger was my mom, not the
that's
pop.
that's the point, right? This is what I'm trying to say. So I notice, like you, that when I'm around people that I don't necessarily want to spend time with, that my allergies kick up. All of a sudden, my nose gets stuffy, my eyes watery, I get tired, I feel dull headed. And I've been diagnosed many, many years ago with environmental allergies. But why would it be that in most situations I'm fine? I don't take an allergy pill or a tincture or stinging nettles. I don't take any of that, and I'm fine. And then all of a sudden, I'm noticing that around certain people, all of a sudden, I start getting these allergies. That can't be a
Yeah, that's a good
coincidence.
sign. But also you tell yourself you have allergy, right? Like in my
I
case, my allergy came back, and then I told myself whatever, right? And then that you telling yourself your allergy came back, I thought you cured, whatever. So it came back. Like then you're gonna start reacting to pollen. That's how. Oh, we are not a medical doctor, so this is not a medical advice, guys. We're just sharing our insight, like personal insight. It doesn't probably necessarily apply to any of you. We're not medical professionals, so just we are putting that notes. But
Yeah.
anyhow, so
Yeah, because when your thoughts come in, what you were just saying, when your thought comes in, "Oh, maybe I have allergies," then all of a sudden your body goes, "Okay," and it starts responding to the
yeah, the
pollen.
pollen, yeah, that was my observation for this year because my allergy was fine until
Yeah.
Japan. And then it kicked on. I was like, oh, I thought I healed, right? So I came back and then it healed. And then this year I'm coughing like crazy. And then I kind of like, I'm not coughing like crazy. I just coughed a little bit. But the thing is, my thing came back because I happened to be surrounded by, I was at the botanical garden like last weekend. And then I was surrounded by all these trees and the gardens. It was beautiful, by the way. And then my body started reacting to, okay, you have a hay fever, you have allergy.
And you have to wonder, did you subconsciously or just very at the edge of your consciousness go, "Oh, there's a lot of flowering trees. I wonder if I'm gonna have trouble with my allergies." I mean, can you recall? Did you have that thought?
No,
Okay.
I have that thought more toward a cat,
Ah, okay.
because
See, for me, I don't think about my allergies at all, and all of a sudden I start noticing that. So people who are scientific would say, "Well, the pollen count was higher that day. That's why you had the allergy. It's not the people you're around." It's possible. It is a
I think it's
possibility. I'm not
both.
gonna say, but I think our thoughts and beliefs about things have more to do with it. And I think if we really want to detach ourselves from a a heritage or a lineage, a habit, or what's the word I'm looking for? Patterns. Um, we have to change our thoughts about it.
Yeah, it's
And
important. And the physical manifestation is a very strong one, right? In the
yeah,
Zen, it's very easy to change your energy or vibration, but physically, it's like a so real and so convincing, right? So after your allergy come back, you kind of convince yourself, oh, you want cured.
and I'll shift to another thought too. Um, Bringing in for myself. Now I just figured this out today, so I'm sharing it with you as I'm getting it myself. But, my pattern that I'm trying to or I'm going to let go of is, a lineage thing, and it has to do with, I'm from an old European family, and, well, they're all old, aren't they? When you talk about ancestors, but, um, that did not believe in, abundance, that did not believe that good things could happen in their lives. They just sort of existed, it was always survival life. And then I would notice with my family members that as soon as something good was happening, they couldn't embody the joy because they're just waiting for what's going to go wrong. They think to themselves, well, this can't last, so they're just already thinking about what's going to go wrong next. And we call that pessimism, right? But I think it's way deeper than that. It's just not believing that good things can come into your life, not having had examples of it, or maybe not fully embodying the examples. So for me, how I counter that pattern in my family is I look at all what we call the little things, and I just pull all the joy out of it. For example, my cat just came in my room a little bit ago, and she's sitting on the bed, and I just love her, and she gave me a pretty smile, and she's blinking her eyes at me, and she's telling me she loves me, and I'm just finding so much joy in that. And people would go, "Oh, big deal." But if we're always waiting for the big things to happen in life, we miss all the little things. And so this is how I'm kind of shifting my lineage of always waiting for something bad to happen to just recognizing all the little good things that are happening right now and enjoying it, finding the joy in it. Because I think that's how I'll shift that whole family lineage of some pretty difficult lives, if I'm being honest. To stepping into the life that I wanna have, which is being joyful
Mhm.
and creating out of joy, not out of fear or being unconscious about it. Like, creating because someone told me this is the way it is,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. So it is important, like, the reason why we go through this, like, all this emotion up and down, like we talked about last time, not the last time, I don't know, a couple of episodes ago. The reason we go through that is to release our old vibrations, which is no longer serving you or serving me or serving us. That's including ancestral lineage of whatever the stuff you carry on through ourselves. So that could be physical condition, that could be emotional patterns, or could be emotional beliefs, right? So that's we inherited. Because some people say, hey, because my mom had this and that, or my dad had this and that, illness wise, and then I'm going to get it, which is not true. Because the reason why you get those is 50% is environmental cause and the 50% is genetic cause. So they did a study of the twins, like if the illness, sudden illness shows up in one twin, and then theoretically, if your parents had this, you are supposedly having it, then both need to get, you know, or will get illness, right? That didn't happen. It's an environment.
Yeah, but I think it's a potential. Like, if your
That's a
family
potential.
lineage has this, so
Mhm.
you said environmental and then you said genetic, but what about the energy no, genetic. I said energetic. So you said environmental and then you said genetic. What about it's it could be all of that, but it needs the spark of energy that says, "I believe in this,"
And
to activate it.
yeah, but
So why
environmental.
one twin would get it and the other wouldn't, maybe because the one twin I mean, as we grow up too, we have free will and our thoughts and our choices. Just
Mhm.
because they're genetically identical doesn't mean they're going to activate certain things within
Yeah, that's
their
the point of the experiment, right? So environmental is including person like us, our thought, our vibration as well. So how we
Okay, so when you said environmental, you didn't mean pollution. I think some people would get confused. When you said environmental, you mean
Whatever external factors,
okay.
external factors besides genetic.
You had the allergy in New York, and then you overcame it. So
Mm.
then you go back to your heritage and to your mother, who is a trigger for you, of things you don't like in your environment, right? You don't love that environment. That's not where you want to be anymore,
Very
especially
stressful.
like when you eat, say you're eating pasta and you caught the flu at the same time, and then you vomit because you have the flu.
Mm.
You blame the pasta. You might say, well, something was wrong with that pasta, or you say, I'm never going to eat that again because the association is so gross. It's like, oh man, that vomiting, you're not going to forget it anytime soon. So maybe you go a couple years before you eat pasta again, or at least lasagna, because your association
Yeah,
with that
association
flu is
is
so
strong.
gross that it brings about a visceral reaction to you when you think about lasagna. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there, but I think energetically we're the ones who are in the driver's seat, and
Yeah,
we
that's
can
what I'm saying. Like we are the one who is creating this unconscious level or whatever that is, and then root cause or stuff is triggering us. Then plus, now you recognize or you admit and telling yourselves, "I have allergy," right? Then your body is programmed by it. But that's my thought as well. Like trigger association, and then you confirm with admitting it.
or believing it, saying to yourself
Yeah,
over and
believing it over and over. Right now, I'm
yeah,
telling myself I have allergy. Right, that's why I gotta take care of that part. Like
yeah.
sometimes in the
Or
weekend.
especially if you tell, when you go out into public and you're talking to other people and you say, "Oh, I have these allergies," or "Oh, I have this illness," or "Gee, my whole family got cancer at this age. Probably I'm going to have cancer at this age." Um, those affirmations are because now you're doing thoughts, words, and you're acting upon it like it as in you're worrying about it. So like we're taking all the tools of creation and we're putting it towards something we don't want.
Yeah, we're creating by talking with other people. I talked about my allergy like a couple days ago. And then you kind of do it unconsciously, right? When you're talking, you're not always creator's mode. Like you think you're just talking the facts, right? But by doing that, you're creating that version of the reality. While
You're reaffirm yeah.
you're forgetting you had another reality. You lived for good long years. You didn't have a, you know,
You didn't have
trigger
that problem.
strategy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can roll with that 100%. And so I think for me, just in conclusion, I would say, if anybody asked my advice on it, I'd say if you have something that you're telling yourself and you consider it as your fact, take a look back into your heritage and say, how many times did I hear that message? And is it possible that it isn't true?
Yeah, that's a good question to ask.
What if it isn't this way? What if I'm not going to get this? What if I'm totally healthy? And what if, like say if it's weight that you're trying to overcome, like say maybe you wanted to have a slimmer body or something like that. Maybe you go, well, what if that's just right around the corner for me? And I'm when I feel better on the inside, then all of that can just fall off of me and it'll be effortless. Change the dialogue in your mind and your body will follow suit.
Yeah, especially it comes to do with the belief you're having about something like negative belief. You can kind of start telling something different to yourself. That's something we all can do, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, and even if you can't believe the opposite right away, then just say, what if? What if it's possible that it is this way instead? And then just let that percolate. And what I do is I call in my guides and I say, help me to clear my thinking. The angels, my guides, Christ consciousness. We can ask for help. We don't have to do all this by ourselves.
Yeah.
And and I feel it right away when I say, help me to clear these thoughts, help me to clear this fear. but I do ask, I say, help me to understand it, where it comes from first, because I do always like to know the origin of things. I find that it's easier to clear something if we know where it came from.
Oh,
But if I
definitely.
can't get that answer, it doesn't always come. Usually it comes. But if I can't get that answer, I just say, I thank you for being with me and helping me clear this, and bringing in the light and the new energy. And so, in that way, people can help hypnotize themselves. They can what we do in quantum healing, they can do it on a smaller scale, whereas they just have made a decision and an intention for perfect health or abundance to come in their lives. Though there isn't another nasty thing coming my way, in my case today, there's nothing that's going to happen now that I haven't already gotten through and been fine about. So I don't need to think about what happens when something bad comes along. I'll take care of it. Let's look at the joyful things. Let's appreciate what I'm looking forward to. My move to Florida, selling my house, continuing doing quantum healing, watching my son graduate, watching my other son get his new place, seeing my grandkids again. Those are the things that I could focus on that are way
Mhm.
better, and they feel way better than thinking about some bullshit coming out of the blue to blindside me and make my life hell again. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's a pattern. That's a pattern that I learned from my family. So,
Mhm.
damn, I'm really ready to let go of it. That's my that's my shtick. Any
That's
final
good.
thoughts on your end of
Well, people going through physical condition, that could be allergy or more severe thing, and that could be difficult to overcome. So it might not happen overnight, but because physicality is extremely like solid evidence, right?
dense? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
dense.
we can always going toward the direction of improvement, and then one step at a time. So I definitely gonna work on myself on this weekend about my allergy issues, because I think that now I started to recognize more and more about the association. Not always, because I do have allergy with next to the people I like. I was sneezing near my girlfriend. I have no issue with her, you know. So
Well, like you said, once you get the thoughts
yeah,
rolling,
once you get thought
yeah.
wrong at the meeting you have allergy, then you're gonna reacting no matter who you're with.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I kind of like noticed you get really worse when you are like next to someone you are not really fond of.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like something I never ever realized until this year.
You know who did some really great work, um, about what we're talking about is Louise Hay,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
I had her
from
book. I had her.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've read her books, and, in one of her books, I think it's called You Can Heal Your Life, there's a chart, with all different kinda ailments and kind of what your body might be telling you, like, what the issue might be related to, like, if you have an abscessed tooth, if you have a vertebrae in your back that's a problematic, if you have skin issues, she gives some really nice
She does.
I
I still look at those. My guide said don't limit the possibility to the cause of that. But
right.
I that's why I said goodbye to the book. but
Well, I think it's a good like, it's just
I
a
know
good
that's a
introduction.
yeah, that's a
It's
good.
a
No,
it's a good introduction to thinking that way. In
yeah,
other
I know.
words, in understanding that there's a metaphysical cause to your
Hmm.
illness,
There,
not subjecting it to just genetics or bad luck.
there,
And
is.
then when you get a session, I mean, I've found in my sessions with clients that some of their ailments were related to other things, not necessarily what was in Louise's book, but very personal to them.
Yeah,
And so then, they had the session and they could recognize what was the root cause of that illness and then begin to heal it. Um, and then, of course, we bring in the energetics, the higher energized beings that can come in and actually do healing for them because that's their intention. But I just think Louise's work is kind of pioneering because she's one
yeah,
of the
it is.
first ones out there saying, "Hey guys, Don't let the doctors tell you this and let that be your reality. She's saying dig deeper, go with it. She healed herself from cancer. She had stage 4 cervical cancer. So that's no small thing. And if she could heal that just by changing her diet and believing and healing the old wounds that were probably the energetic cause for that cancer,
Yeah,
um,
definitely
then you
energetic
can do
call.
anything. You
Yeah,
know, we
so
can do anything. And then I read Anita Morjani's book, Dying to Be Me. That was a good one too. She was end stage cancer as well, and she actually went into a coma and had a near death experience. Um, it's a really great read, if and it's a quick read too. It's not like it's a book where you have to invest lots and lots of time, but um, we really do create this, and we can change it. If we've created it, we can change it. It takes a little while. Like you said, you get the ball rolling, and sometimes you're going to have these symptoms, or you might have this illness longer. You may need to take the medication longer that your doctors put you on. You don't want to just quit anything. And like Erica said, we're not doctors, we're not giving medical advice. But what I'm saying is, like, once you shift the direction of the illness because you're changing the root cause of it, which is belief in it, then it can go
yeah,
the other way.
yeah, can go toward the improvement, definitely. Because that's what Dr. Joe Dispenza was talking about, right? If you can create it, you can disappear it. That's what he was saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So um, I'm a big fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza. So that's what we are talking about it as well in our point of view. That's sharing our insight as people who are dealing with a lot of changes in energetic level.
Yeah, yeah. And we started the conversation with releasing habits, family line heritage type habits. If we're aware of it, then we can change it.
Yeah, that's what Bashar is saying. So anything we inherit from our family, whatever that is, right? We can first we don't have to accept it, right? I'm not gonna accept any of the illness, my family had. No way, because I don't believe in that. That's only 50% of potential. So if you live in super healthy lifestyle, it won't happen. So that's my belief, right? So, however, it's very important to anything like the belief, all this money belief or all this relationship belief or whatever the belief we are having, that's more of we are programmed more like a subconscious level. And then sometimes we have to dig deeper to find out what this belief is. Is this yours, or is you inherited from your parents, or when you're little, so you started believing that, and then not always that is helpful. And by being aware of that, that is the first step of releasing yourself from this family, generational curses. And that's something I wanted to share. And next week, Sue and I are going to talk about what are we going to talk about next week?
Oh gosh, we'll let you know on Friday. our 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 topics change on a dime, so let's see what the energy is on the day. But we think
We are planning to talk about.
we're thinking of talking about taking full responsibility for creationship, which kind of goes in line with what we're talking about today. But we'll see how we do on Friday, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna talk about that topic eventually anyways, just like going back to the source topic, we were
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
talking.
yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of embeds itself in a whole lot of other topics too. So
Yeah, so
I
I
don't
kind of
feel
want
like
to talk about that next week. I
sounds
kind of
good.
do. Yeah, sounds good. So we're gonna talk about that. So please share, like, subscribe, and if you guys think this, our podcast, this YouTube thing is really something other people around you need to know, please share that too. And thank you so much. We see you guys next week. Bye.